Hello everyone and welcome to the Tuesday, December 17th movie collection update. We're 8 days away from Christmas. Hard to believe Christmas is already a week from tomorrow. It comes up so quick every year. And as a custom, every year I like to spend this portion of the year just discovering new Christmas films, trying to watch things to get me in the season, and that's what we got right here. So I should start off by saying, when I was preparing for this update, one of the Blu-rays I bought, I cannot find. I keep a pretty clean room here. I don't know where it could have gone, but there was a movie that I bought for the Christmas part of this update. I watched it last week. I had it sitting right here, right near me just a few days ago, and I cannot find it anywhere. So it may have accidentally gotten thrown away. It may have I have no idea. I searched high and low and I cannot find it. So to start off, I would have had the Blu-ray of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang to show this update. I'll just put a picture of it right here. To sum it up, it was a fun Shane Black movie. Much more screwball comedy than I would have expected out of it. I expected more of an action movie, and what I got was much more of an Agatha Christie screwball comedy, mystery type movie. But overall, it had a lot of laugh out loud moments. Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer were great, and yeah, it was nothing too special to me. Little overrated, but okay. So now that that's out of the way, maybe I'll find it the second I stop recording for this now. Getting into the update, from one of the Vinegar Syndrome partner labels, I picked up Am Santa Claus, which, very odd, interesting documentary, which follows the lives of all these Santa performers and what they do during their off-season. And there's this really weird subplot in there about Mick Foley, that he loves Christmas and he's trying to become a Santa himself. And like, of the Santas, one of them's an alcoholic, one of them's gay, one of them's a singer, like just all this, you know, like goofiness that goes on in their lives. But it's actually a pretty endearing documentary. But the craziest thing about this whole thing, and this has never happened to me before, there's a part of this documentary that was filmed at the 2012 Days of the Dead Chicago, where I was. I did not wind up in the background of any of the shots, but it was so surreal watching this and seeing an event, realizing, holy shit, I was there! And yeah, it was awesome seeing the Schaumburg Marriott Hotel, that outdoor tent where they used to have Days of the Dead. Yeah, that was the weirdest bonus that came out of this documentary. And then some non-Christmas viewings that I got that came out during this time. And they're actually kind of similar movies from a similar era. And this was one of the hottest physical media releases of the year. It sold out almost instantaneously. That's why I'm very glad I was able to pre-order mine when I did. Of the deluxe limited edition box set of Trick or Treat from 1986. Always one of my favorite movies in high school, and actually on Halloween night, October 31st, I had the opportunity to see this movie live in downtown Chicago with Mark Price in attendance, and that was so awesome. He sat in the audience and did this rolling commentary of the entire movie. He actually sat at our table because only 9 people were present in the theater. And he signed autographs, did pictures for free afterwards, so Mark Price was a really nice, funny guy. And yeah, watching this movie back now, all these years later, it doesn't hold up quite as much. It's a lot sillier and it's a lot goofier than I remember it being. But it's Trick or Treat. I've got a lot of nostalgia. I saw this when I was a freshman in high school. And this set they did is, you know, awesome. There's so much just bonus content in there. You know, I love this original poster for it the best, but you got the CD soundtrack, you have a Blu-ray, you have a 4K, you have a poster, you have a book. It's loaded up with special features, my favorite of which is the Tony Fields tribute that they did where they talked to his family and his teachers and stuff. So Michael Felsher knocked it out of the park with this one. So awesome to finally have a good release of Trick or Treat. And I normally don't double dip on movies that much, especially if it's a Blu-ray. But they got some new features on this, including an interview with Peter Berg, which I really wanted to see. So I had to upgrade and get a new copy of Shocker. Now, Shocker, I saw this when I was in middle school. I was absolutely obsessed with the soundtrack of Shocker. I love this movie. It is so silly. It is so goofy. It's all over the place. But I love it. Shocker is... It's an S-tier movie for me, and it's actually my favorite Wes Craven film, which I know is probably an insanely unpopular opinion, but Mitch Pileggi as Horace Pinker is a riot. The climax where they're chasing each other through the TV channels, it does not get any better than that, so I was very happy to get this definitive copy of Shocker now on 4K. And this is one that I had always been curious about. It was a streaming exclusive that had disappeared for several years, and it never had any kind of a home media release. It was always very popular in the movie circles, and thanks to Scream Factory, I was finally able to see Hush, this 4-disc version of it with these different cuts of the movie and all these bonus features, interviews. So anything Hush that you could possibly want is included on this. And the movie was a bit overrated for me. I did like it. It was a cool concept, but it was, at the end of the day, pretty typical of a home invasion style film, sad to say. But I did enjoy it. I was entertained. I was into the story the whole time to see where it would go. And the lead actress did a wonderful job, being mute the whole movie. So, yeah, solid home invasion movie. It's good in the genre. It just doesn't really do too much with it that stood out that much to me. But overall, it was pretty solid. All right, getting into more of the Christmas watches now. This one is from my childhood. I have not owned it in years, so I just wanted to go. I found it used for really cheap, so I picked up a copy of the Polar Express. Childhood nostalgia. I remember when this was coming out, and the trailers were everywhere on TV, and they would do all the Metra trains in the area to be like the Polar Express, so... Little bit of childhood nostalgic warmth. Tom Hanks, Polar Express. This one, they do a good job capturing the Christmas atmosphere. It's a very cold, but at the same time, there's a lot of holiday music. There's a lot of Christmas imagery. 'Twas the night before Christmas. I just could not get that invested into the story of this. It's a dark comedy that I was just not gripped by the storyline. There was too much tonal whiplash in there. It's a movie with John Cusack called The Ice Harvest. I don't really have too much to say about that one. And then Jackson and Levi, my step-nephews, their mom and them, their number one Christmas movie of all time that they watch 1,000,000 times every Christmas season is Daddy's Home 2. They are obsessed with Daddy's Home 2. So for the sake of this Christmas update, I threw that in there, as well as seeing the original Daddy's Home in there. So I got both of these. And they're both just okay. Like, this one, they're such modern comedies. They play by every single rule in the playbook you would expect a modern comedy to hit. And I've never been a huge Will Ferrell guy. Like, I know we're sitting here talking about Christmas, but guys, I really do not like Elf at all. And I've got friends who will crucify me for saying that, but it's true. I'm just not that big into Elf or Will Ferrell. And say, like, Daddy's Home 2, like, I like Mark Wahlberg in both of them. And Daddy's Home 2, the movie belongs to Mel Gibson. And, I'd say John Cena's fun in it too, but when Mel Gibson and John Cena aren't there, to me, there's really not too much going on with this. They're both okay. They're entertaining. The first one has a scene at a basketball game that legitimately made me laugh with a kid in a wheelchair. But, they're pretty disposable, formulaic modern comedies. And, yeah, sorry, Heather. Sorry, Jackson and Levi, but this one, I can't see myself watching that too often every Christmas. All right. Now, speaking of Mark Wahlberg, this was a blind buy for a film that I had never seen. But it paid off, as this was actually a blast. If you've ever seen the Mark Dacascos film Drive from 1997, not to be confused with the Ryan Gosling movie, this reminded me a lot of that, where it's like a Hong Kong John Woo action movie, but it's a comedy. It's very lighthearted. There's a lot of super silly stuff in it, and it's called The Big Hit. And I enjoyed the hell out of this. This movie was hilarious. You've got Bokeem Woodbine with one of the strangest running jokes I've ever seen with a character. Lou Diamond Phillips doing his thing, what he does best. You've got Mark Wahlberg as a goody two-shoes hitman who doesn't like to make people mad. And this was just a blast. I was entertained start to finish. It's like a hitman movie meets a sitcom. And just so much about it just had me laughing beginning to end. And how can you hate a movie that ends with a kung fu brawl in a video store? Like, come on. So yeah, this one gets a high recommendation for me. This is kind of an underrated gem. I really enjoyed The Big Hit. And then an Arnold movie that I had never seen before, I had always heard about, and I know this one does not exactly get the best word of mouth, and that's The Sixth Day. And I gotta say, I actually didn't mind this one. It came out in 2000. It is so of the time. To the where, like, I was just getting such a sense of the early 2000s techno-noir cyber thriller genre in this, that it was kind of warming my heart from the get-go. And Arnold's a lot of fun in it. I always enjoy when Tony Goldwyn shows up in something. You've got Michael Rooker in here. I was entertained by this one. It's not one of my favorite Arnold movies, but I was entertained. I liked my time with this one while it was on. So, yeah, I don't know. I like this one, guys. Sue me. Continuing with the action trend, we had Out for Justice with Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal is hilarious because I've already watched all these videos on him and how much of a joke he is just in real life. And so watching something like this, I'm already going into it with kind of a jaded mindset about Steven Seagal. And William Forsythe is probably the highlight of this one, just playing an absolute psychopath villain. Again, though, this one just didn't really do too much for me. It's just textbook action movie that doesn't really stick out too much. And Steven Seagal he drains charisma out of everyone else with how plain he is. And in this, you see him walking around wearing this beret, and it's just... Stick with the Under Siege movies. Those are the ones with him that I really like. Alright, we got two more Christmas movies, this time both on DVD. The first one with Nicolas Cage, John Lovitz, and Dana Carvey is Trapped in Paradise. And you know what? This one was a pretty charming movie. It's not a classic by any stretch of the imagination, but I really enjoyed watching it. Like, I started off the first 10, 15 minutes or so, I'm like, I don't know. But by the end of the movie, I was really pulled in. The Christmas vibes were really strong, and there was some genuinely funny moments. And the Christmas spirit with it won me over, where they get trapped in this Hallmark town where everyone is so happy and they have a really strong guilty conscience about robbing their bank. And The only one that's a little irritating is Dana Carvey's character. He's the only one that after a while I'm just like, okay, I kind of wish he was just playing a normal guy rather than, this. But Nicolas Cage, it's an interesting movie when he plays the straight man out of all of these people. And but no, very charming Christmas movie, and I can easily picture myself popping this in every season. So yeah, Trapped in Paradise, I thought was a good one. What was not a good one was Mixed Nuts with Steve Martin. This was dog shit. This was terrible. The whole thing is filmed as if it's like a stage production in this like apartment building, and Adam Sandler's in it. This one was dog shit. Don't worry about that. And last but not least, I got rid of some of my DVDs of South Park by upgrading it. I started with this one because these are my favorite seasons of the show. In my opinion, this is where South Park peaked, and that's with seasons 6 through 10, especially season 8 and season 10. Those are the two. Like season 10, you have the World of Warcraft episode, which is one of my favorites. I never even played the game, but I just love that episode. It's hilarious. And also in season 10, you have Miss Teacher Bangs a Boy, which is one of the most batshit, but one of the greatest South Park episodes. But no, season 6 through 10, all of these are great seasons, all on these Blu-ray discs. You got nice art from the episodes on there. You got the Woodland Critter Christmas, that's in there, and Awesomeo, the Gingers, the hockey one that has the most uplifting ending out of any South Park episode ever. So, yeah, no, I would love to collect the whole series of South Park because it's really convenient, and I wish more TV shows would be doing stuff like that where, combining them into these Blu-ray sets. And I think South Park's one of the only shows ballsy enough to not recall any of the episodes for something like that. So there you go. But anyways, guys, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas holiday season. What are some of your favorite Christmas movies? What do you think of some of those Christmas movies? Let me know down below. Will I ever find my copy of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, or did it disappear for good? I don't know. And I'm halfway through, doing my month-long Christmas vlog now, so that goes up through Christmas, so that should be up in the imminent days right after Christmas. And hope you guys enjoy this. Have a safe and happy holiday with whatever you celebrate. And we will see you in 2025 for some very big things on the horizon. Thank you.